Hello and welcome to this week's Inquisition with Dice Hate Chris from Warlord Games. We're going to kick off February with a guy, and then we'll delve into the women later. Later in the month we have a couple of new guests we've never had on before, so that'll be really cool to have people we've not had on before. We're going to try and keep new guests coming, even though we do like the throwback guests. Wes James, thanks for joining, pal. Hope you're well. How is everybody's Wednesday going? Bank holiday here in Ireland last week, so it's a 4-day week for Dunk, and it's hard to believe we're halfway through the week. We have two dogs lying on two different couches, and we've got the Wonder Pup in the kitchen with Monkey Paws. So she'll be allowed in once her paws dry off. And yeah, that's all for happening with me. I got myself a wee trim, wee head shave, trimmed the beard, because the wife was not liking the homeless look that I was starting to sport. I thought I looked like Jesus, but she said no, I don't.
Wishes today with you. Day off, but my 5 day strat. Oh, that sucks, man. I don't do weekends now, thank God. Thank the maker, as C3PO said. Yeah, I Dunk doesn't do weekends now. I'm too. As Danny Glover once said, too old for that shit. And to be fair, Danny Glover looked as though he was about 90 in Lethal Weapon, but he was probably only about 28 or probably 33. But he looked as though he was a man who had seen a lot of things. Think you an invite there, Chris. So it might pop up and just press accept. Finally got some of Marvel Rise profile and also about some was. Oh, that's good. That's cool, man. That'll be awesome to see when you post it up. Penge is the man. Dice Hate stresses on me, blow joint. Classic. Aye, Penge is the man that's all over. What do you call it? Marvel Crisis Protocol. Marvel isn't my bag. But your dad got an old 3D printer printed this bad boy. Pretty cool. WW Productions, thanks for joining. Chris, got all the numbers. Leave some numbers for somebody else, man. So, I accepted your invite there again, Chris. Let's hopefully hope that Instagram is not playing up today. And there we go.
No. Sorry.
No, man, here, it's Instagram. Sometimes it works first time, sometimes it takes forever. We had a guest on 3 weeks ago, one of the boys from Buntran and Donegal, and we couldn't get him on. It looked as though he was in some sort of witness protection program because it kept jutting out. Thanks for joining, Chris.
No problem.
Wes James, it was just an STL file I seen online. Obviously, I paid for it because I'm a nice guy, and it took me 4.5 hours to print it off today, so I'm now knuckle deep because it's before 9 o'clock. Knuckle deep into 3D printing. But Chris, thanks for joining us this week on the Inquisition. Absolutely stoked at somebody from Warlord Games. Big shout out to them for letting you come on. Thanks very much.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
We'll just get Penge in. Penge is his usual early self, 4 minutes after 30 past. So we'll send Casey a wee request to join, and then we'll get the show on the road. And remember, folk, as always, if you're needing brushes, orange brushes, I'd be mad not to buy them. And then we have a wild Penge. There he is there.
No, I apologise. I got home from work like 20 minutes ago. I've had to inhale my dinner, put the boy to bed. It's just been carnage.
It's classic. It's classic Penge. It's what we come for the last 2.5 years. It's what we expect.
Well, it's actually not my fault tonight, home. So usually it's just because I'm lazy. Tonight's not my. Yeah. Sorry, Chris.
And this is how well run we are. This is how well run we are, Chris. This is just the carnage. We are the Iceland or Farnfoods of podcasts.
Yeah.
You get what you get. So, Chris, the first question that we like to ask everybody just as a wee icebreaker, it's like 3 questions pretty much rolled into one. What age were you when you first got into plastic crack? Who got you into it, and what was the first mini that you ever done?
Age? I know with a year. It was 1994, so I have to do math. So I'd been at 11 or 12. Oh.
Showing your age there, Chris.
Yeah. It was a White Dwarf 189, 188. Was my first couple of White Dwarfs. My first miniatures were the not the RB1 sprue Space Marines, but when they packed them into the smaller box, but it was the same Beaky Marine minis.
Yeah.
I think they came in the blue box. I bought those for £5, and I bought the Orc Army for it would have been Adeptus. It would have been Space Marine, not Adeptus Titanicus, because I didn't know they were a different scale. I thought it was just all the same thing. So I was like, oh wow, get a full army, yeah, for £5 because I was a moron child. And I painted those by dipping them into household emulsion paints.
Yes. Old school.
Why does this look like it does in the box? Oh, weird.
That's the best one I've heard.
Yeah. It's a good one.
We were going to retire that question, but I'm so glad that we didn't, because we were waiting for somebody to come down the old emulsion route.
Yeah, I had very little idea. I can't remember what, but it was an old hobby store, like in Exmouth down in Devon. My mum was in the Navy, and it was like I just found these boxes. I'd done like Earthfix models and stuff, and I was like, oh, these are cool. I bought those, and then a little bit later, once I kind of realised it was more of a thing, I went to a Games Workshop in Southport after we won big at Funland on the 5p machines, and I could afford the original paint set with the Chaos Warrior with the axe.
Yeah.
So I got that, and that was my first actual proper miniature I tried to paint using like, a brush, not a dip.
Can I ask, did you pay for that all with 5p's?
My grandma was very good to me. I think I was like £2 short, and they still bought it for me. I was a spoiled child.
But do you remember how massive those 5p's were back in the day? They were big. That was the big 5p's.
It was the old 5p's, yeah.
You could have killed somebody with them.
The old 50p's as well.
Is that all 3 parts of questions? Did I miss anything?
No.
What was it that got you into it? Was the only other part?
I think realising it was a game. Like, so my mum was in the Navy, and I lived with my dad and my stepmum up in Wigan. So I kind of used to go, and I mainly got into the gaming side of it when she was based in Plymouth. So Games Workshop in Plymouth, and it was like, I didn't know anyone, and it was just like, there's people your age there. Go and stand with those people for a little while. And then it was, I think they were showing off, I think they made a board for one of the really early Adepticons, and it was a big red war. So it was at the Orcs Landing, and I got to play with some of they were new at the time, the old Orc bikers on the trike.
Yeah.
On a half-track motorcycle thing with the twin autocannons. So I got to use those and drive them up onto this beach landing, and I got a hat that said Big Red War. It was like painted on this cheap black hat that they were giving away. And that was just a 12-year-old boy getting to play with toy soldiers. I was hooked. And then for that Christmas that year, I got my second edition 40k starter set. So yeah, never looked back.
So just something I like to know is when, as a kid, obviously you're doing this as a hobby, you think it's great fun. When did you sort of, as you were growing up, think, I can do this for a job? Great, I'm going to do that.
I still haven't, I don't know. I'm still doing it as a kid, I think. So I joined the Air Force. I grew up in Wigan, and I didn't really want to stick around Wigan, not really many prospects in the late 90s. So I kind of knew it was join one of the military branches, joined the Air Force, and I kind of drifted out during just too busy kind of thing, doing all my training. And then I found I was living in the accommodation, had a bunch of disposable income. So I was kind of doing it then. And that was where I kind of did a little bit of writing. I found recently one of my articles from back then is still on the internet. I wrote a Combined Arms article for the Dark Fortress, some Dark Angels site, and I randomly stumbled across it. That would have been from 5th edition 40k, and a lot of people in the military do secondary duties so that you can get promoted, and I really didn't want to like go run marathons for charity. I was like, I'll run a gaming club. So I set up a GCN network gaming club on camp and kind of did all the police checks and hosted kids and do all of that stuff and work with the local games workshop in that way. So that was my first kind of earrings into some form of professional adjacent. Then when I left, I moved to Canada. About 2013, I left the military, moved to Canada, and that was my first time I was working in an office. I had lots of spare time. Twitch was still just in TV at the time, was just becoming a thing. Bell of Lost Souls was still quite a big site, and I'd sold off. Moving across the Atlantic, you can't take everything, right?
Yeah.
So I think I'd kept my Dystopian Wars, sold off my X-Wing. I kept my Flames of War, sold off a couple of other bits and pieces. Went away, no one was playing Dystopian Wars, everyone was playing X-Wings. So I was like, oh crap. I chose poorly. So then I sold all my other crap and bought loads of X-Wing. And then I quite enjoyed just pushing spaceships around. Everyone was Star Wars, right? It was the right time to release a Star Wars game as well, pre-Disney. And I just started writing again. I kind of had the time of my lunch break, so I started writing in Bell of Lost Souls, started publishing my articles on that. And I was like, oh, I really enjoy this actually. And kept it going. As part of it, doing that, the person who wrote they had an article was covering podcasts at the time. And the person who was writing the 40k podcast summaries also did an X-Wing podcast himself.
Okay.
I played in the Canadian Nationals and did well, so they got me on the podcast, and then I just stuck around on there every week effectively. I think Nova Squadron Radio was a big X-Wing podcast at the time.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I did that for a few years, all of the years. And then after that, I was running a roofing company. Then I moved up to an isolated part of Canada because they messed up my work permits. My wife couldn't work. She got a job in Cold Lake. There's a lake there. It's pretty cold. That's
names itself. It really names itself.
Yeah. What else is there? It sells it, yeah.
Yeah, so I moved up there, continued doing the podcasting, continued doing a little bit of content and writing and stuff like that, playing X-Wing, traveling around. But work-wise, I got to join Walmart. Just I needed some hobby money, basically.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to live in Cold Lake, as you can imagine. Calgary as a city is a lot nicer. So we wanted to move back to the mountains and all that. So once we got our residency, we moved back down. But the only position in the local Walmart I could transfer to was fashion manager. I will caveat that there is a point to this story. We'll get this.
Yeah, you're fine with these sorts of stories. It's cool.
Yeah. So I was a fashion manager at Walmart Cochrane. If you're a manager at Walmart, you have like an itinerary of all the work you're supposed to do at what times of day and how far, like we plan your week out. By lunchtime on Monday, I'd finished my whole week's worth of work. So I went to a manager. I was like, you could all the same problems I fixed in Cold Lake. Because I was a health and safety manager in Cold Lake. I can kind of do all of this. I can help. It's like, yeah, have you bored? You can stock shelves. I was like, okay, well, that's not exactly my challenging mentally, but okay, whatever. And then I was away playing in the X-Wing World Championships. Got back from my vacation doing that, and they'd done the Christmas road while I wasn't there. So they put me down for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and New Year's Eve.
No.
There were 2 managers who were on vacation while they did the rota. Weirdly, we were both doing those 4 shifts. And my wife was like, Chris, you hate it anyway. We don't respect you. We're not giving you anything to do. Just quit. We like very privileged. We didn't need the money. We didn't have kids at the time. My wife's a physiotherapist. So I was like, okay, I can do that. I can quit this job. The guy who I was playing with at the X-Wing World Championships was also the manager of the local store. Okay. He was from Preston. He was coincidentally from Preston. So
it's such a small world when you might meet people that just live up the road to you.
Yeah. So I was like, Greg, okay, can I have? Do you need any help over Christmas? You know, I'll work Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, you know, whatever. So he gave me a job just helping on till, that kind of thing. And then after that, I was like, I asked me one day, do you reckon we could do a Twitch stream? I was like, yeah, we could stream X-Wing. It's not difficult. I made up. I'd rather get paid for doing that than working on till. So I helped them kind of start a Twitch channel, do YouTube videos. So we kind of did Monday Night X-Wing and streaming all of that. And that's when Dice Hate kind of came around, as I needed a way to basically invoice the owner of the store for the equipment we needed, because they didn't want to buy it. So I'm like, well, I'll buy it and you can pay me I'll just invoice you for doing this work, and then the work I do on till I'll just be a staff person for. So Dice Hate became a thing, like a real, but if I registered it as like a real corporation and everything, because I'm a moron and didn't understand tax codes. And I should have just been a sole trader, but there was a bit of an ego trip there that it was a real corporation and everything. And yeah, that was like, I did more and more. I actually got paid to go to events, and like I streamed War Machine events for people in BC. I drove across America, meeting store owners, and then I kind of started doing more with the store. I kind of ran the miniseries for them. I went to a Gamma trade show and met a lot of industry people. I started play testing for FFG, for X-Wing board games, and kind of continued doing that. Worked with AMG when they took over. Did a bit of Star Wars Legion, started a podcast for Star Wars Legion. Did a little bit of early Shatterpoint stuff. And then we decided we'd had children. Our parents weren't getting any younger, so spend time with grandkids. We moved back to UK last year.
Right.
I went to UK Games Expo, bumped into Steve Morgan from Warlord. He's the head of trade sales. I've met Steve at Gamma a couple of times. Was chatting about what you're doing now. So I'm kind of doing Dice Hate a little bit. I've been writing articles. My wife's hoping to get a job. I'll stay home with kids and kind of do Dice Hate properly. And they're like, oh, well, send me an email. We've got something that might be interesting. And here we are. So, yeah.
So I just want to go back to you gave us
there's a lot there.
You gave us a lot. So,
that's 20 years.
I think you're the first person. I think we've now covered every branch. Because I don't think we actually had anybody from the RAF on. Who?
Ginge fella.
I thought he was on.
No, RAF regiment.
Rocket's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't know where I live, so it's fine.
Yeah. And I'm sure he started in the army and then went to the RAF regiment. But the RAF regiment don't count. Because as Chris will know, the RAF regiment, brilliant guys, they get slagged off by everybody.
Everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. They are the whipping boys of the armed forces.
I mean, it's a step up from pushing a button to let people through the gate, but you know.
Pretty much. Yeah. How long did you spend in the RAF for?
12 years. I did 12. I joined at a really weird time, right? I joined in 2000 and then hit all the redundancies. So just promotion ground to a halt. I think if that hadn't have happened, I'd probably have done my full 22. But I always said I wanted to leave with good memories and not be one of those, 18 years in and just stuck in that pension trap. So I'd signed on for 12. I did 7 years on 43 Squadron, time of my life. Like really happy, fond memories of that. Got to travel world, worked with great people. Did Travel 1, all Tornado F3. And then I did some time on doing second line work on ECM pods, doing Sky Shadow countermeasure pods, which I loved. Like it was the fault finding. I love that challenge as an avionics technician. I miss the work, but the aviation industry moves on, and I didn't work any large aircrafts. I didn't get any like civilian stuff I could transfer over. But yeah, that analytical side and that fault finding, that analytical thinking I loved. They asked me, I'd signed on for 12, and I got called into Django's office, junior non-commissioned, no, Django, junior engineering officer. He was like, Chris, if we offered you 15 years without promoting you, would you accept? I was like, no, if you want to stay and you can promote me. So then I got the letter, SSC Sheriff, we would like to offer you 15 years without promoting. I'm like, no, it's okay. I told you I'd say no, so I said no. And so I felt a little bit fucked around. So do we swear here? I don't know.
Yeah, you can swear away, man.
That news
Yeah, like Chris Tester, the guy that works for Audible, he's done a few Audible books for Black Library. I think he is still weeding in the swearing content.
Yeah, you got a fair way to go.
Yeah, like he was. We were not expecting a thespian of his stature to be effing and blinding the way he did.
I wear many different hats, right? So depending upon company. If I'm in the North American audience, I enunciate more and kind of change.
Hello, don't you know, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, basically. But with you guys, it's going to be awful. The Dundee accent will come out a little bit more, and the Wigan will be in there. But the listeners will love it. It'll be fine. So yeah, it was just one of those things of I felt a bit messed around. 12 years, you get a payout. So they promoted me, and my courses were due to start the January, where I was due to be out on the 13th of February. So I was like, yeah, I accept my promotion. And I never signed anything. So I just took the extra money for like a year and a half because he never sent me on my courses. So I never signed on. And then it was like, okay, I start my terminal leave now. It's like, but you've got your NCL courses start next week. No, they don't. I'm done.
Man, like, thanks. Like, for folk that don't know, I used to be in the army. So I did 5 years between 96 and 2001. So yeah, man, respect to you. Did you stop doing the hobby? Like everybody that we spoke to, I would say 90% of the people that we spoke to, they get into the hobby about 12, 13, and then they find women and drink and other activities, and then stop about 17, 18. Have you had that break, or has it always been constant for yourself?
So my training was 18 months trade training, and I kind of drink. So I joined in November, did my basic, then went to trade training. So I was like 2 years, but then I joined up from the Dundee Avco, and there's a games workshop in Dundee I used to go to while I was waiting to join up. And then I got posted to RAF Lucas, which was where I used to live before I joined up. So I just dropped straight back into the same group of friends and just picked it up and I was living in a block, so for the people who don't know, before they gave me my money, they took out the food money and the accommodation money and all the utilities. So literally I could spend my entire paycheck day one and not die. So
And the
Like,
amount
mate,
of people that did that, like even we used to do that, you'd get out and get absolutely trashed in the Saturday, Sunday, knowing that you still had your food and your roof overhead for the other 26 days.
yeah, that was the beginning of my financial downfalls. Were in trade training, we used to do the Friday after payday. We'd go to the Indian, and on the way back, we'd go and buy a plate and a knife and fork because then we'd throw them away. Just like a brand new plate, brand new knife and fork, so we didn't have to clean it, and just bing, done. Live like a king for a day. Would not advise, by the way. And that's not an endorsement of that lifestyle at all.
Join the military, throw your money away.
If I wasn't a moron, life would have been very different.
Yeah, but then if you weren't a moron, as you're calling yourself, then you might not be where you are today.
No, I wouldn't change anything, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go, Casey.
So, yeah, obviously you've landed on your feet where you are now. How's that all going?
It's been really great. I said it brought me on to. We had conversations about opening a store, basically, and I'd seen interviews with John Stallard where he spoke about the store and wanting to open one, and obviously his history at Games Workshop, running a retail department, kind of felt like a natural evolution of Warlord. And I had 9 years worth of retail experience in North America. I have that advantage of having done gaming and GCN network clubs, all that UK side, whilst also having seen the North American side of how their gaming works. The last 3 years I've worked at Adepticon running X-Wing World Championships. I've got that industry experience through AMG and Asmodee kind of based game system, that ecosystem. So it was just a really good fit. I didn't really know about how we'd go about opening a Warlord game store. I think when John, the interviews I've read and watched with John, initially it was like, oh, we'll stock Games Workshop stuff, sell that at a discount, stock Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and have the Warlord branding above it. And I was like, I think if I want to do it, I want to do it properly. I want to make a Warlord game store. And like that was, we had lots of like conversations in the build up to that and what that means, right? What we want it to be. And Conflict 47 really helps because it gives us that game that is new and modern and feels very different to the other Warlord offerings.
Yeah.
And then it kind of gives us a big spectrum we can cover of, you've got something for the graduates of Games Workshop in Bolt Action, you've got something for new players in Conflict, and you can kind of graduate all the way through to those big club games where you want to play just a night with your friends playing Black Powder on your 16-foot table. You know, it kind of covers all the ranges.
I have to say, I went when did I go? End of last August. I popped up to see the Noisy Neighbours with my little kid. I took him to their exhibition and stuff. And on the way out, I was like, you know what? We're swinging into Warlord Games. And, you know, it was just lovely because as soon as you were letting the door, it was like, hello, how you doing? Come on in. You know, my lad got a little fuss made of him. He was looking at all the war stuff. He was well into it. And it was just a nice special little stop, I think. And it's, you considering, like I say, you've got the Noisy Neighbours. I think there's a great thing that you're there and you're also like, right, come on, we're here too.
I think it's really easy to forget the disparity between Games Workshop and literally everybody else.
Yep.
Like when Asmodee took over with FFG, and then so Adepticon last year, maybe, or the year before, when they kind of did that big relaunch for Legion and launched Shatterpoint and wanted that presence, the money that was spent to kind of, with the we want to show Games Workshop up money invested in Adepticon, like Warlord Games can't do that.
No.
Games Workshop are a level above that. You know what I mean? You're talking like factors of hundreds.
Yeah.
Like Warlord Games is still a small company by every metric you would judge a company. So punching above the weight is a good descriptor, I think.
It is. I think it is. And I think that I know people that have done the Warhammer stuff for years. Like a friend of mine, he dabbled with it all back in the late 80s and 90s. Then he started getting back into it recently. But even then, he was like, "Oh, I did ancient history in college," and he went and ordered off the Warlord Games website one of the Roman armies, and he was like, "This is going to be great fun." I think after his 20th Legionnaire, he was like, "I actually hate my life. This is a terrible decision." But
it should have gone with Epic Hail Season. That's the key. Paints quicker and gets you bigger battles.
But you know what? It's that constant connection, I think, to wargaming has always been a historical thing. And it's Warlord really lead the way in that, I personally think. And like you're saying, with conflict, it also opens up, hey, look what we want to try. We want to be that little bit different. This is our take on it. Let's see what we do.
Before you answer that, we've got a question here from the chat as well, from BattlePads. If anybody has any questions, throw them in and we'll get them to Chris. Are Warlord Games products something that can be stocked in my local store?
Yes, they can. We have many trade accounts, over 1,000 trade accounts across the world now, globally. So no matter where you are in the world, we love dealing directly with stores because the reps kind of tailor the service. We sell stuff to distributors, so if you already deal with a distributor who stocks our stuff, you can get it from them. We don't mind, but it's a much better relationship if you deal with us directly, because then if you want to run an event, we can kind of tailor our price support to what you need, and like you can talk to your rep, and you have that personal relationship. But I ran a trade account in Calgary that was direct with Warlord, and I had great relationships with my rep. So just get your store to email Warlord Games saying that you're looking to open an account. It's the easiest way, and someone will be in touch.
So that's the way you like to hear it, isn't it? Is that personal touch of customer service, that you are able to go in there and say, "Oh, you want to do this? We can help you X, Y, Z." Rather than, "Okay, you want to buy our stuff? You have to buy X of this, Y of that, Z of this. You have to have all the frames for it and bloody blah."
Yeah, and obviously companies and business work in different ways, right? And I remember initially, I don't think this is a trade sheet that we use anymore, but it had that kind of, if you do a core range, you get X level of discount. If you do this range, you get this level of discount, and it kind of tiers all the way up. And I was like, well, what about if I commit to doing more? Like, I think I'll carry every bolt action plastic box you make, but I don't want to have to carry this range. You know what I mean? And it was that kind of back and forth and conversations, and the rep made it work. So, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. BattlePads has opened a store recently in Catterick, and he's serving in the area, so he's going to get in touch. There you go.
Cool. Yeah. Tell them I sent you. They'll look after you.
Even with our dealings to get somebody from Warlord Games on, the person that passed me on to you, they were an absolute legend as well.
That's great. Yeah.
They always emailed to make sure that they knew that you hadn't ignored us, and they then went looking for someone to come on, and obviously they picked your fine self. So I definitely drop them an email and they'll get back to you. That there's no ignoring people like with some other companies as well. And I must say, I just want to touch on Conflict 47 just now. Right?
I think we have.
Do I need to put a Warlord hat on? Okay, I can get it for you.
Officially, there you go.
Put a Warlord hat on.
So, for me, the thing that attracted me to Warlord 47 was Command and Conquer, because the Germans remind me of the Brotherhood of Nod, with the black and the red. Was that kind of in the back of the developers' minds, or was it just a natural? Because there is very much, and I'm not saying that you stole off of Westway Studios, but there is a few similarities with some of the units. which because I'd been looking, as Casey will know, I had been looking to do something that wasn't Games Workshop for years.
You have,
And
yeah.
I just couldn't find something that would grab me. And then when I seen Conflict 47, I was like, that's the Brotherhood of Nod, and that's something that I've been looking for. Was that something that was in the back of the developer's mind, or is it just a happy accident?
So, that's not my area, so I can't directly answer the question. What I can do is give you my opinions on it and direct you to correct answers, right? So if you go onto YouTube, they have the K47 video from when we launched back in September, because we launched on our open day. So you've got the full panel, and one of the questions that is asked is, it's not Command and Conquer. I think they talk about Wolfenstein and all. And it's a different franchise of that exact question. And the answers in the book, paraphrasing, people see so many different things in conflict, like the zombies for the totem corpse can be from Call of Duty.
Yeah.
You've got the Style Troop and can feel very, to me, we felt very Fallout when I initially saw that kind of power arms from Fallout, but people said it's more, it's not Bioshock, it's a different Mass Effect, I don't know. But, I think people see different things with it, and it just connects with that culture. Those, not milestones, touchstones. It's got all of those things in it. For me, the Pond Skater just sang to me. That's what I was working on. Well, I've not worked on anything this week. I've had a week off. I did 2 armies in January. I'm done. But yeah, the little Pond Skater mech. And I originally I had one that I built with a machine gun, and I saw a recoilless rifle. I was like, oh. I got that bit from the factory and just swapped it out. I was like, I want 2 more. So I've got 3 with this. It's just this really cool recoilless rifle on this little 2-legged mech with the gunner, and it's that open top. I'm underselling it as how cool I think it looks, but it's kind of like got the little flotation buoys. It's aquatic, so it's just a little dinghy with its little chicken legs, and then I picture just like walking up the beach firing this oversized gun on this tiny little frame. And I was like, I don't know where that design came from, but it's just cool. And then getting to talk to the studio and see how passionate they all are, and it's very much a really small in-house studio now. It's all run through Warlord. It's our own game. A lot of the stuff we bring in like third parties and contract people, but this has now gone fully in-house with Conflict. So it's really cool to see. Every time I work remotely, but every time I get to go down to a studio, I'm like a little kid in a candy store. So I just run up to a design studio. I've just got to put my bag down over here, or find an excuse to walk through. Yeah.
I mean, the thing that I like about Conflict 47 as well, and I've never played Bolt Action, but I've heard it's kind of similar, is when you're randomly pulling out a dice. So basically, you could end up moving all your units. So I was playing against my son there last week. We were just doing a week and a half skirmish game, and he was laughing, going, "Oh, I've got to move all my things, or I've got to shoot." And I was like, "Yeah, but now it's my go, and I know what you've done, and there's nothing that you can do to stop me from doing what I'm going to do now." And I like that. It's kind of luck in a way, what dice you pull out.
So it's 2 things, right? One, it does a really good job of simulating that fog of war.
Yeah.
And then being a little bit tongue-in-cheek, the worst thing that happens is what you just described, in that you play a game of 40k. Like, the worst thing that happens is I do my army, you do your army. So we're just playing 40k then. And that's the worst thing that could happen again. I don't know.
I have to say, like, we're touching on when you say like the tongue-in-cheek. I think something that's always stood out for me about some of the Warlord stuff is there is a sense of humour running through some of the ranges. Like, I always refer back to the fact that there was a Dad's Army box.
Still is, yeah.
I absolutely loved that. If I had the balls on me to paint it, I would. But no, in my life, I'd make Mr. Mandarin look like a penguin or something. So I've never done it. But also, with the Conflict 47 range, it is also that little bit of a sense of, right, let's have a bit of fun with what could happen if X, Y, Z. And I tell you what cracked me up the most was, can't remember the name of them. It's like the British robots, but they've still got the Tommy Tin hats on them.
Yeah.
That's my favourite.
Yeah, the Mark 1 automated infantry and the Mark 2 automated infantry. Just announced the plastic kits are coming in Q2 for those, because I'll put my warlord hat on and work on chill a little bit, just a little. But yeah, we released a plastic roadmap of everything that's coming. So I just finished building the new resin ones, and they were better than building the old metals. But just making plastic already, I'm done. Trying to because they've got the really Clockwork Soldier vibe. So the wrist connection points for the arms, where it's just tiny wrist and tiny wrist onto a giant HMG. So yeah, I'm looking forward to plastics for those. But the aesthetic, when I saw them for first edition, I had a similar kind of thing where I bounced off, but I only saw the Mark 1 robots on their own in isolation. I was like, why are we wearing hats? Then the second edition box came out, and I was really hoping that there'd be an army I didn't like. Because if I'm opening the shop, right, so I have to do the Firefly kind of jump themed army and the Style Troop and Power Armoured army, because that's going to be 2 demo armies. So I need to paint the starter box, and I'll need the armies that kind of grow from it so I can do my job and kind of sell people on. So that's 2 armies out of the 5. Then I wanted the Pond Skaters, so that's 3 armies, 2 American ones. Then I really love the old Schwertruppen, so the Mark 1 Power Armor for so that's 4 armies. 1 American one I want, and the Firefly one I have to have, and 1 as well, because it's really good in the game. You can take the Power Gamer out of the game, I don't know. And then 2 Axis armies. I kind of saw the sculpts for the Ursus for the Soviets, and fell in love with those. I'm like, okay, Soviet army. I put my order in Saturday, I think. I ordered another conflict. I was like, I'll finish my Brits, and then I'll order a project. And I haven't finished my Brits. I've already ordered the army, because I don't know what happens once the pile of shame goes to 0, but I'm not willing to find out.
Can it ever go to 0? I don't know if it does.
No, it's not going to. But so I ordered those. Then Marcus had asked me to write a Commonwealth series for the website. So I was like, when I'm doing content like that, like tactical stuff, I don't like doing it without having experience. Yeah. So I ground out some time with the Commonwealth, did an army, taken it to tournaments. So that's another army that I have, and I love it. It's great. But then the Japanese as well.
Yeah, I love the Japanese.
That Scorpion Walker, those assault frames are pretty cool. So I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna be all 5 factions. And the worst of it is the way I collect armies, and this is applied through like every game system since I started, really. I don't know where it started or why it started, but I do, using like 40k talk, if it was 2,000 points, I'd get 2,500 points of that faction. So I have a little bit of variety. Yeah. Make a couple of different lists. But then that's locked in. If I then did a different army, a different basing scheme. So for Star Wars Legion, I did Shadow Collective box came out. I wanted, so I joke about Star Wars Legion that I quit playing twice. Luckily for AMG, I started playing 3 times. So that Shadow Collective box was what got me back in, because you could do that really strong theme once you started doing those battle forces. And I based them in like a deserty world with like really rust and I had a full table that I'd made, but that meant that if I wanted a boss for my Scarif base list, I needed 2 bosses. So I could have one on a beach.
Yeah.
So, like, the Stormtroopers in my Blizzard Force have snow bases. The Stormtroopers in my Remnant Force are on a deserty planet. So we can't. What are you doing? I can't just have another unit. I've got to buy them. So the Americans I'm doing for my Pacific themed army are all on jungle bases. My Fireflies are all on snowy bases. So I've got a second batch of Fireflies in case I want to add, and I'm like, do I use them to make more options for my Firefly list, or do I build them to go into my US list?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what the question was, but again, I'm a moron and just buy. Yeah. It was 10 packs, isn't it? Yeah. So seeing the British Army, the Percival, I just thought was cool.
Mm.
The Humber I like anyway for some. I just like the Humber, and seeing it with the K-47 turret was cool. And then the Galahads. So at that point, I was like, I will put up with the Mark 1s. And then I actually got them and built them and put them on the table. And after painting them, I was like, oh, they do look cool.
Yeah, I mean, that
short answer is the answer to that question. Could be. We're not live. Edit that bit out.
Is it the Mark 1s that look like Big Brothers from
Bioshock, you think of?
Bioshock?
Like those huge diving suit sort of things.
Yeah.
I think, so to me, the Japanese Shadow Ghost Warriors look closest to Bioshock, because they've got the diving helmet kind of thing for going through whatever a rift is.
What I love about the Japanese faction, right, and because I was looking at what faction to buy, and I bought the Japanese introduction set, which is because it's the whole basically army before you kind of start fleshing it out, was the lore behind them that the Germans gave them the technology, and then the Japanese went, right, we'll do our Japanese thing, and made it better. And then when the Germans asked for the Japanese to share it, they were like that, nah, fuck you. It's like, oh, yeah. That's brilliant.
I mean, can you blame? So they went, can we have some of this technology? The Germans went, yeah, here's the Locust mech. We're going to take the jump stuff out of it, though, because you don't need that. Right. Fine, okay, we don't need jump. Maybe we'll teleport.
Yeah.
What's that, Mr. Green Bolt Man? You want some teleporting? Sucks to be you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's tit for tat. If they'd have just given them a jump, maybe they'd have shared the teleporting. Who can say?
Yeah, and you've got your own Chrono Legionnaires for Command and Conquer Red Alert too. I fucking love Davey, guys. Especially when you got the Chrono Commandos. Oh, when I first got them, I get banned for using them against my mates.
So I do have a Command and Conquer story for you if you like.
Well,
always.
So when I said my mum was in the Navy, she was. I think the timeline is advanced enough that I can say she was the person who Tony Blair would phone up and say, "We need to push a big red button."
Oh shit!
And just end the world. That was her job in the secret bunker in Shape. There's a big red button. Push it and cause nuclear annihilation. I'm sure there's more to it than this. But basically, Shape is the Supreme Allied headquarters, right, of NATO. So there's a bunch of Americans there, and when I go and visit her in Belgium, they had a LAN cafe, which I, as a Brit, I'd never experienced.
Mm.
But they had Command and Conquer, and I'd played a lot of Command and Conquer. And they used to do head-to-head games. So I've never played Command and Conquer against people. What's this about? Like, the internet was the internet, but it involved waiting for your pictures to load in lines.
Oh god, yeah, trying to get on page 3.
Yeah, so a LAN network to play Command and Conquer on was like, wow, these Americans. There's a Burger King and they have a LAN cafe on their bases.
I am never leaving this place again.
But I played against someone, and this may say more about me than them. But I was like, what should I do? I think I'm just going to build Mammoth tanks this game. So my my decision tree was, what do I need to build to get mammoth tanks, and that's all I'm doing. And then I drove 5 mammoth tanks into his base and killed them. Because they were doing a balanced build.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh man, this guy just builds mammoth tanks. So the next time I was playing, and I was like, I think I'm just going to build orcas this game. So I did the decision tree to get to orcas, and they'd done a rush to counter mammoth tanks, and I flew in and shot them. And then the next vector, I rushed to commando in and just blew the base up. And just like,
me and my two mates used to play Command and Conquer because we shared a flat and we used to have a LAN party. There was 3 of us, and I went the French in Command and Conquer Red Alert 2, and they had the Grand Cannon. So if you got like 10 Grand Cannons, you were basically it was like the Menagio line that actually worked. Nobody could get by you. So my mates thought.
I mean, going around, like you put that much effort into building defences, it's just rude to drive around.
Yeah. So my mates thought that I had no tanks or anything, but what I also did was I reinforced with anti-aircraft guns in every single bit of my base. So anytime they sent planes in, they were getting destroyed. That game turned out to a stalemate, and I was then banned from being the French. But yeah, that's more about me. So, do you do any bolt action, or is it just like Conflict 47, or is that?
I'll say Dave, but I know it's Mortain. What's Mortain's question first? Hi,
Dave. Yeah, so he's asked, what's the thing that excites you most about working for Warlord?
It's a twofold answer, right? One, personally, they pay me to write things.
Always a good start.
Like, being paid to create content is just a great feeling. It's very validating, and having that be part of my job role is really cool. Yep. And the fact that they let me keep Dice Hate as a thing. I have my own website. I do my own Instagram. I didn't have to get all folded in. So I still have that little bit of freedom to be me when I want to be me, and I can be, I get to do that. And then, there's so many answers to this. The Warlord have never opened a standalone store, and I love a challenge. I don't like my work being boring. I picked up the keys on Monday, so I got the keys to a store, go in and trying to sort out. It used to be a bookkeeper's, then it changed into a clothes shop, and they just destroyed this place. And I walked in. I won't go into too much details. When I was viewing the properties, I walked in, and I was like, "Don't look at what it is now, because you'll throw up. But 2, just look at the potential of it." So I'm like, if I take this wall that they've built out of pallets and cardboard down, I can open up the space and I can get gaming tables, and that kind of the trust that they've placed in me to do this job, which neither one of us has done before. John opened up the Games Workshop. So they already had some. They had a model in place. There is no blueprint for this. The work I'm doing now will build a blueprint for what we do moving forwards. And that's a very rewarding and challenging position to be in.
Yeah, I can see that. And it's also, it shows the trust they're putting in you for it, but also it's helping them set something and establish and build on something. You'll ever go down in law Warlord that this is the first one. Kris did it. Yes. And it's that pride of it, isn't it?
That's it, exactly right. It's easy to say, put the Warlord hat back on and do the talking points right, but I didn't need the job when I accepted this job. I'm excited to work for Warlord because of the position the company's in right now.
Yeah, definitely.
And we've been around for 18 years. To say that I'm in on something exciting on the ground floor would be very disingenuous, right?
Yeah.
But Conflict wasn't out when I signed, but it was coming. I knew about it,
Mhm.
and like I'm excited for 10, 20, 30 years time, and if I can still be at Warlord, like I hopefully I don't mess it up. And that's the other side of the that coin, right? Having that responsibility, mess it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, the fact that I can say that I helped build that is what I'm excited for.
Cool. That's a good way.
There you go, Dave. A giant answer.
He did say all he wanted was to shout out, so you know.
So I gave another one for free.
So we're at the part of the show where we've warmed you up, got you nice and loose, maybe a wee bit hard, maybe a wee bit wet, and we like to delve into the real questions. So, over weekend, you're sitting, chilling out, you've had a hard week, Warlord gaming. What do you like to snack on at the weekends? What's your crisp of choice?
Crisp of choice. Okay. So there's a few answers here as well. Like nothing's ever simple with me. You'll learn that. I did warn you, but I like to talk. Okay, that's your fault, not mine.
We love a chatty guest.
So my crisp of choice involves a time machine.
Okay.
Smoky bacon monster munch.
Oh yes, they were good.
They were top tier.
Yeah. Then if you ask me when I'm in Canada, it will be salt and vinegar squares because you can't get them. So salt and vinegar squares. One of the things that I missed. Now that I can get them all the time, it's less of a big deal, right? But yeah, I do like just a high quality roast beef crisp. Is it Pipers that we have in bars? Yeah, a nice roast beef crisp.
There's always a nice follow up because a roast beef crisp is best in a pub. So what are you washing your crisps down with? What's your alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages of choice?
Alcoholic wise, I'll do either. So I do like a half shot of Jack Daniels and Pepsi Max. That's my 2 ice cubes. That's my kind of just sit in, chill, and drink. I'm not trying to get drunk. I'm not trying to just if I want to just enjoy something. And it's weird, right? I can't do a nice scotch. It's my palate is too sensitive for that. So I do need a bit of a bourbon with a mixer. And then I do like the sugary drinks. So the strawberry and lime Copperberg. When we arrived back from Canada, I did hit because I saw it in the corner store. I went and got some Iron Brew. No, it's not Iron Brew Wicked anymore. Is it VHD? But effectively Iron Brew Wicked.
Oh yeah. The BK, whatever they call it. Yeah.
I was like, ooh, alcoholic Iron Brew. And then the same corner store in Wigan, they had alcoholic dandelion and burdock.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. But the world's moved on without me, and I've just been left behind in Canada. What's all this about? Alcohol pops, man. Get me a bottle of hooch. Yeah, living it up.
No, it is crazy, isn't it? That, like, alcohol pops is a thing. I know we've talked about them on this show before, but I had a mate. It was my mate's wedding anniversary last year, 10th anniversary, and as a wedding anniversary present, I got him a box of Reef. And he was absolutely buzzing. It was like, it's the best present ever. Meanwhile, his wife's in the background, like, are you sure about that? It's
she's knows what she's going to deal with in the morning. That's all. There's so much sugar, mate.
I can't think of anything worse than alcoholic but dandelion and burdock. That is one of the worst drinks ever. It's almost as bad as Dr. Pepper.
You know.
What is burdock?
What's Iron Brew?
Iron Brew is made from girders, right? We all know that. But we know that dandelion and burdock is made 50% dandelion and whatever burdock is. What the hell is burdock?
Herbal something.
It's that guy from the A-Team.
Murdoch's twin brother.
Yeah,
He's not howling mad. He's actually quite sensible.
yeah, tastes great.
No, this honestly, we had a boy in our regiment he was from Kilsyth, but he was English, and he loved dandelion and burdock.
Well, man, it's not his fault. Can't control what you're born.
Oh, it was honestly, it was absolutely rank.
So
Anyway.
you've mentioned obviously like your time in Canada there, and your squares that you mentioned. Is there something that properly stands out from your time in Canada that you do miss, like a bit of food or something that you used to do?
I do miss my gaming group from Canada. That was a hard one to leave behind. It was a great group of guys. Like, we were just transitioning. Like, X-Wing was still going, even though it's a dead game kind of thing. We still play, and it's a very fun group of people, like chill guys, and they were just picking up other games to test out as well as they kind of moved on. And leaving that group behind as they were taking those first steps into different games was sad.
Yeah.
But on a non-sentimental kind of way, when I was in Canada, I missed British bacon.
Yes.
Now that I'm back in Britain, I miss Canadian bacon. Because it's just really well, me and my wife sat having a bacon sausage roll and a pancake, pap. I don't know which parts of the world we want to kind of go to. And I was eating, I was like, man, this bacon's really salty today. And you never get that with Canadian bacon. Never.
It's something that I've got some friends in America, and Warpgate Studios, Sam, who's been on with us once or twice, is always critical of American bacon. But then the same thing, like you say, they come over here, they have it again, and no, it's too salty. And they go back to America and then they start whinging, no, I want your British one. It's like, make your bloody mind up.
Yeah. But I do. I like my food. I enjoy cook. I don't do anywhere near as much as I used to, but I love cooking. So, I made a chili the other day, and I put spices in as if we were in Canada, just on default. And the quality of the spices here is a lot more flavour in the way that things are packaged and everything. So it would just blow your head off, kind of spicy. Whereas it would have been, those quantities would have been mad. So
I was looking through your Instagram there on earlier on.
We do our research.
We like to stalk our guests before they come on. And there was a post that kind of stuck out to me, was when you found a childhood haunt of a kind of lake.
Yeah.
Did you get full nostalgia on that, or did you regret a wee bit finding it? Did it still have the same feel from when you were younger?
So the good thing, that's a weird one, because I'd kind of convinced myself that I'd made that memory up. Because before I left Wigan, before I left to join the Air Force to go to Scotland kind of thing, I'd kind of spoken about it, and no one knew what I was talking about. It was one of those things, it was very much an 80s place, and then in the night, and I found out, now that I knew what it was, I kind of researched it, but it was just one of those things where it never got maintained through the 90s, and just people stopped going, and now it's kind of making a comeback kind of thing. And so yeah, that validation that I am not actually insane and this was a real memory was very good. And because I knew I had the memories of a direction we'd leave Wigan driving to, and then I had memories of a walk to get there. But it was from those kind of real childhood memories that you kind of drift in and out of, and you don't. Did I make that up?
Yeah.
Because I have a vivid memory of walking on the beach with my mum and dad from before I was born, because they went track beach before I was born. So that's impossible. That's a memory my mind's created from being told the story of them going there. Or like seeing a picture of them there and inserting myself. So that's a false memory. So it's like, does this place actually exist? And it being real was really good. But I do understand the question because, and it's part of a reason why I've not been, because it's actually, that was just the Japanese themed gardens. There's actually another part to it, which is a Renaissance Roman themed garden as well. And I haven't been back to look at that part yet because it is a little bit sad.
I understand that. It's like you're saying, sometimes you hear a story so many times that it becomes your story even though you weren't there, and then other things that you sort of remember you start to doubt, and it's funny how our mind plays tricks on us and that sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that many stories about Epstein's Island. I'm starting to think that maybe I was there with Prince Andrew.
I've searched you on the list, mate. You're not there, don't worry.
Yeah, but I get different names. That's why I moved to Ireland, mate.
But just something else like we do talk and ask about like is your other interests. You've mentioned there obviously your podcast, you like your Star Wars. We did a whole Star Wars chat last week, which if you want to go back and look at it, it's on our channel. We go mad because we're just so excited to talk about it.
Yeah, I was just trying to join that one by mistake earlier.
And the thing is, we never actually spoke about any of the tabletop games of Star Wars.
We didn't.
Week. We actually didn't.
But
Yeah, when next year when you do Star Wars Round 2, give me a call. I'll jump on that. But
Oh, perfect.
I think it might be less. It might be sooner than next year. Don't worry about that.
Definitely.
yeah, I do enjoy writing. I'm not. It's really difficult at the moment because I'm very particular. Like, I have a process. It takes me a long time to kind of warm up, and then I'll get in that flow state and do it. But because I'm also kind of doing it for work now as well,
Yeah.
so that kind of gets tread on a little bit. So I haven't done as much writing as I'd want to. Reading, I in Canada I used to listen to a lot of audio books just because like once we had kids it was much harder to kind of pick up a book.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was doing a little bit too much doom scrolling and shorts and those attention sapping things. So I bought myself a nice fancy Kindle with a pencil, so you can actually write on it, and so I can use it as a notepad. And I started reading the Sharp series again. I read them when I was in the Air Force. Like you'd sit in the crew room waiting for jets to come back, so I'd read a lot of books then. So I'm kind of revisiting that. So I'm reading a little bit of Sharp at the moment, and a little bit of Peninsula War porn is great. Again, adjacent to work. People can come and talk to me about the real thing, and I'll ask where the 95th Rifles were and the Safe Essex. Where did they act in that battle?
So one of the other questions that we like to ask, it's basically, when you started seeing your good lady wife, at what point did you drop in that you collect miniature figures, and did you hide it from her, or were you upfront like a real man, which I wasn't, or did you just subtly start leaving like the odd bolt gun here, the odd base there, and then before you know it, she's inundated?
So I met Jill after I joined the Earth. I was in basic training, and I was in basic over Christmas, so we got Christmas off, which is really weird, doing your basic training and getting to go home and come back. It's very strange. But I met her at the Boxing Day in Wigan's. Very weird. Boxing Day is when Wigan is fancy dress, which for people around the world, fancy dress isn't bow tie. That is costume dress. Again, I've got to speak for North American fans as well, guys. I can't. Fancy dress isn't putting on your top and tails. It's so I've dressed up as a crusading knight with full chainmail. Unfortunately, 3D printing wasn't a thing, so it was heavy. I think I had the indent around my neck for a good week. So she knew I was a loser. But as I said, when I was in that period of my life, I wasn't gaming. I was still a nerd, but I wasn't like doing any hobby kind of stuff. So she would have when I got posted back to Scotland. It was one of the blocks where you could touch both walls. The guy in the room at the end, the Air Force went from a 2.5 foot wide bed to a normal size single bed. And the room at the end of my block, we could not put the new beds in. So he had to keep his 2.5 foot bed because of the way the radiator was positioned. You just couldn't. I think they ended up building it with the legs behind the pipes for radiator. And the only way they could get it in was to take it apart and rebuild it in the room.
Classic.
That's how small the rooms were. So there was no hiding my toy soldiers when she came to visit. So as I was getting back into it, she would have known I was getting back in, starting. Yeah. So I didn't hide it, but I didn't tell her. It just, you know what I mean?
I don't know what they're doing there. That was the last guy's stuff. He's just not came back and got it.
Yeah.
Battle Paz is asking, when did you join the Air Force? As he did basic over Christmas too.
The 8th of November, 2000.
It's funny how those dates stick with you, don't they?
I was actually halfway through my getting out in November 2000. I just came back through the Royal Guard and was getting ready to go to Kenya, getting ready to do some pointless exercise at some point. That's what we like to do.
From your stories, though, none of them sounded pointless.
Oh, they were all
especially when you did your tree. I feel like this story needs to be told again because we haven't heard it for a while. This is always my favourite story of yours.
Did you actually paint any grass green?
No, so when we were doing our infantry course in Cartrick, we were doing night navigation, and we were getting shown the difference between light at night. So, like the mini flare, we were told that when the mini flare goes up, it's instant light, and you drop to the ground. Right, so that made sense. In my 17-year-old head, that made sense. We were told that when the shimula goes up, you hear the shot, you hear the and then it's light, so there's like a 10 to 15 second delay. So that gives you time to hit the ground. That gives you time to hit the ground, but the mini flare is instant light. So you can't just drop down because it's obvious that there's somebody in the middle of this field. So we were told by our training corporal, who had never ever seen this, was you had to make like a tree and start making your way down to the ground. There's a young 17-year-old infantry. That makes sense because if you don't have time to react, you're best to slowly get down. So I was in my regiment for about a year and a half, and I was doing a pre-NCO cadre, and we were going across this field in the middle of the night in Edinburgh, and mini flare went up, and everybody just dropped but me, and all I was doing was my tree thing, right? And then all I heard was, "Who the fuck is that?" And I instantly knew that I'd been done. And I get back to the harbour area, and one of the boys was like, "What the fuck were you doing?" I was like, I was like 19 at this point. I was like, "Well, I was just like going to the ground." He says, "Why did you not hit the ground?" And then he's like, "Have you always done that?" And I was like, "Yeah, every time nobody noticed, like for a whole year and a half I was in my regiment, that I was making like a tree and like slowly making my way down until I was doing this NCO cadre. Like, who the fuck is that? Is that you, Smudger?" And I just I knew I was done.
I love that's I didn't do the armed forces, but it's the stories like that you hear, everyone hazing and winding each other up with those little things that make it.
Like, we had a guy in our platoon who we were doing this thing for cadets. We were like showing them like different types of crawl. Like you've got the kitten crawl, which is really slow, which is what mostly snipers use to get themselves out of position. You get the leopard crawl, which is like that, and then you've got the monkey run, which is basically you on your hands and knees. So we were doing demonstrations, and one of the boys went like that. Does anybody want to demonstrate how to do a monkey run? So one of the guys was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And we're like, "Right, fine." So, and he just grabbed it and started like making like an impression of a chimpanzee, And we all
I
burst
knew it
out
was
laughing.
coming. Yeah.
We all burst out laughing, and he knew that he had been done. But he had been doing that for about 8 months in the regiment, and nobody had noticed.
Yeah, we used to get you'd send people around camp to get their ID 10T. So you've got to go to PSF to get the paperwork. They send you to photog. You hold up a board that says ID 10T. Get your photograph taken, and then that goes up on the base newsletter.
We used to have people that go to the RSM's office to get the keys for the parade square to do a drill. And then
Yeah.
we would be hiding, like watching, and then you just see him get marched to jail by the RSM.
Yeah, being an aircraft technician as well, you got all of the we've got to drain the wing boxes, so can you go get a fallopian tube? We need a long stand for this one. Yeah, all
And
of it.
black tape.
Seen it all.
The RAF black tape was like, we used to send people in to steal that because that was brilliant. Everybody loved that tape. You'd always send a new guy in to get, there's no RAF technicians there, just go in and get the tape. You'll be fine. But we'd have always obviously gave a heads up to the guy, you fucking stealing my tape. It was like gold dust, that tape, because everybody loved it, that black tape. Yeah. So you've got kids. How many kids do you have, if you don't mind me asking? Do you think they'll get into the hobby, or are they still too young for that?
So I've got 2 kids. One's an 8-year-old girl. The other is a 3-year-old girl. We did My Little Pony miniatures a little bit, but and she loved dragons, so I got a bunch of dragon miniatures to paint. But I feel like I'm a good parent 99% of the time. I can't separate trying to teach someone to paint from letting my daughter enjoy throwing paint at a model however she wants.
Yes, I understand that.
So I had to stop because I would have just been an asshole.
I get that.
So, yeah, my wife, they paint statues and stuff at the moment. And my wife deals with that, and I just don't get involved. I'll do other things with them, but that part of my brain, I really struggle to, and I'll paint a dragon, you paint a dragon, and I'll be like, yeah, I'll just do it really quick and messy, it'll be fine. And I'm like, so this is my 4th stage of dry brushing. So you're not brushing enough paint off on the kitchen roll. Well, I don't care if you're 4. This is now with paint. And she's 8 now. So.
It's funny, isn't it, when you're that passionate about something and you're trying to trying to teach someone else about that, and you lose yourself, don't you? Your patience is less, weirdly.
Yeah, and so I can see myself being a bad parent.
Yeah.
And I know about the experience of, God, Chris, you are just an asshole. Just let her have fun. Look, it doesn't matter if she's trashing your Winsor Newton. She's enjoying herself. Oh, yeah, we can get a new one. It'd be fine.
I would be like that with my son when he was playing sports. Like, because I moved to Ireland 18 years ago, and my son was only like 6 months old. So he started playing like Gaelic sports, like Gaelic football, useless. Then we put him into hurling, absolutely useless at that as well.
Hurling's ridiculous, though. I don't think you can hold that against a kid. It's a weird. Let's play.
This is why, though, right? Because he was that useless at it. They would put him in the least dangerous position in the field, which was up front, because he couldn't do any damage back there, and he would just chat to the goalkeeper and distract them, or he would start twirling the hurley, the bat, like it's a majorette. Now, I've never played hurling and I've never played Gaelic football, but I know sport, and chatting to the opposition goalkeeper and doing spinny things with your stick is not how you play hurling. And I had to stop going to his games because I was just losing the plot.
My lad, when I signed him up for a football class, same thing. Like, he wasn't really enjoying it. I was trying to teach him. I'd take him out and show him different ways of doing things, and then he'd get to the class and he'd melt, and he would be sitting there like. But the other one for me is Mario Kart. Mario Kart runs through my veins, and when he plays it badly, I get angry, and I'm like, just fucking play it, just win the race. Oh.
So we play. I got when we're moving back. I've been playing Minecraft with her, and when we moved back, I sold my PS4, but they had a ton in the store, so it was like, I can't give any cash. I can give credit. I'm moving to UK. It's like, oh, a Switch. All I have to do is like get a new plug because the games on the Switch aren't region locked. So I'll get a Switch. So I got like the one you can connect to TV and everything. I got Mario Party and Mario. So we all played Mario Kart. My 3-year-old will play with us, and she'll get a couple mini games and then just get bored. And you've got to do 2 when it's a 2-player one. And but she's really competitive. So if she's not winning, she gets sad.
Yep.
And then Mario Kart, and we've got Bomberman, Mario Kart, and
Bomberman.
But I'll humour her up to a point and then win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. And then she'll get mad because we were playing Bomberman the other weekend, and I was killing myself immediately so I could go around the outside and just throw bombs at her. So I'm out, but I can ruin your game.
Yeah, I did it with Mario Kart. We were playing the newest one a little while ago, and I had a stinker, and I got absolutely trashed. And he won the race, and he's sitting there. I won the race, Dad. I won the race. I was like, you ain't winning anymore. And battered him. Absolutely battered and senseless. I was like to the point where even one time I was sitting behind him with green shells, just waiting for him to stop spinning so I could hit him with another one. But you ain't winning. This is my game. But
yes, so she's like me. She's pretty good for Mario Kart. She's pretty good. Like, if it's an even for race and she loses, she doesn't bother her. The blue shell's bullshit.
The blue shell is bullshit.
Just gonna say it. Blue shell, just turn it off. If she loses because the computer blue shells her, like,
I get that though. Like, especially with the newest one, it just feels like they hit you with a blue shell at the perfect point.
But she was playing on Minecraft the other day, the mini games you can do on this. I'll play Minecraft with her, but I want to play in the game. I can't do like the Bed Wars stuff. I'm a boomer, man. I can't do it. But we were doing this build battle thing where you pick a word and you have to build something that looks like that thing. And she was showing me, and I was like, okay, cool. And it's an anchor, and she built an anchor, and you've got to vote like how many points you think that's worth, and it ranks you all at the end. That's pretty cool. And then she was telling me, I was playing this the other day, and someone just did a 6 and a 7, and then they won, and I could see how annoyed she was that some meme build that wasn't even the right thing won, and she put effort in and didn't win. And I was like, I love you so much. You're my daughter.
Welcome to the real world as well, really.
Yeah, Bolt-face wins again.
So, just before we wrap this up, because we usually just try and keep the guests for 90 minutes, we can run a wee bit longer if you want. What is currently sitting on your painting desk waiting to be painted or built?
So I'm currently got the back end of the British Commonwealth list of Conflict 47 because I had 2 lists in mind. I couldn't decide which one I was going to do, so I base coated them all like rattle can. Then I walked in my list, painted that, and then I had the other stuff I needed for the other list. I'm like, I should just finish it, but that's been sat there for 5 days now, and I've not done anything. And then Marcus had asked me to work on an Axis article, so I had to kind of cover the shock troopers, the ones with the advanced body armor. It's one of the older kits, but it was like one of the best-selling kits of first edition. It looked really cool, and then the new Totem Rot command models for the new Totem Rot army are based on those kind of sculpts. So it's that kind of getting ready for the new release. I really want to do those. but I've got to finish it. But I won't. They're literally here. I can I've got boxes of them just here. But my wife lets me currently have my painting desk in the living room downstairs. So you walk in the house, you've got a coat rack on your left hand side and my painting desk on the right. Because we kicked my youngest daughter out of this room so I could make it an office. So they now share a room because I'm a horrible parent. And then that wasn't enough. I still needed to invade the living room as well. And I'm like, once the store's open and I can paint at the store, it'll be fine. But it's actually my job. And I can't, if I'm at the computer, I'll write, I won't paint. So I need that separation.
Yeah.
And it means that I can kind of spend some family time in the evening, sit with them like we're watching something. Or like my wife's been crocheting, so she's doing that. I can sit and paint as well. So
My wife crochets as well. She crocheted me this wee blanket. But my painting desk is also in the living room as well. I'm actually sitting in my living room on my painting desk right now.
Yeah. It's a good life if you can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and the wife sit in the same room. We don't speak to each other. She does her crochet and I do my painting, and we send each other memes about how horrible parents we are. It's bliss.
Yeah. The worst thing, that's what I miss about Canada. Basement.
Yeah.
Basement. So the setup I used to have, she'd come down the basement, I'd have my actual work computer, which was like 3080. I was getting all the whistles for doing my rendering and everything on for video editing. Then I'd have my gaming table, all my gaming area. We're in the corner, you've got the couch with the PlayStation. Then in the furnace room, I had a second PC just for streaming. So I'd do Twitch streams where I'd paint. And I had a green screen backdrop and multiple cameras. And I had my GW paints stuck to a wall here. I had my 2 thin coats in a section here. I've got everything perfectly organised how I want it. And now I'm stuck on a desk in the living room where
It's the Home Alone thing, isn't it? It's that's what I always refer it to. Like my son asked me the other day because he'd watched Home Alone. He's like, "Why don't we have basements in the UK?" I was like, "We just don't." You're lucky if you get a loft conversion in the UK, fella. You ain't getting a bloody basement.
Yeah, it's fun. So they don't include the basement on the square footage of a house. So the house I live in now is technically the same size as the house I lived in Canada. It ain't.
Yeah.
It ain't. Yeah.
When you just touched on it there as well, actually, Duncan, I'm going to jump in. You mentioned the paints. We always like to rapid fire. What is your favourite paint, your favourite hobby tool, your worst hobby tool, your worst paint?
Okay, I might have to show a little bit here. So, going back to living like a king for a day, and I know you have a brush sponsor, so I apologise in advance. The yellow-handled Warlord Games paintbrushes, I batter those brushes now. When I was doing my painting stream in Canada, my rep sent me 100, and I'd use one for one squad. Hammer it, and it'd be if you look after them, they're fine. If you treat them like I did in the throw the plate away mindset, but I'm now, that's just my go-to brush. I just buy the truckload. I'll use one for a full army paint and then throw it away. I've got 2 different brush soaps and a brush restorer. Those are for my Winsor Newton brushes.
Yeah, always treat your posh ones nice.
Yeah, when I'm using these ones, they are perfect for army painting, and I'm not talking like speed paint and dip. I still do. Once I got a job at Warlord, I painted my 8th army, but I used 2 thin coats. So I've been getting different paint ranges to test different stuff out. So I've been using the 2 thin coats to do my Star Wars Legion. I was using contrast paints with GW paints to do Necromunda, and then I picked up the Pro Acryl paints to start a Shatterpoint project with. None of that's any good looking at Warlord, because if someone says, "How did you paint that army?" I need the Fanatic.
Yeah.
So I got the Army Painter Fanatic range, and I've been trying to teach myself to use that. So I didn't want to jump to Army Painter Speed Paints. I want to learn the acrylics first. And this is how I know that I've been doing this for so long, that I can tell you how different they are. Because it's just an acrylic paint, right? No. Oh no. But the only paints that I will shout out is that no matter what I'm doing, I'm fully transitioned to Pro Acryl Black and Pro Acryl White. Those are my two kind of extremes that I'll use. Those are the only paint types I mix projects. If I'm painting with Army Painter, I still use those. I'll use the Army Painter Whites or the GW Whites, which are normally pretty chalky. The Army Painter one, I find it feels slightly yellow. It feels warm to me, and it might just be my perception because I'm comparing it to Pro Acryl. But like those kind of things. The only ones I always hit are the Pro Acryl Black and the Pro Acryl White. I'm a huge fan of those.
I rate that White. I think it's the best one out there.
Yeah, you would die in that hill.
Will die on that hill. I won't be the only one that does.
AK does a good white as well. A titanium white, is it for AK? I think.
I think so, yeah.
Battle Pads has got another question. Has Chris or any of us heard of a game called Foxhounds? It's in development at the moment. I have been recently exposed to it. Might be of interest to Warlord Games. It needs a developer. Not a game I've heard of, mate.
Nope.
No, not heard of it. I mean, I'm reviewing the games as well through Dice 8, so if you want me to look at it, I will do. But from a Warlord hat on, once it's done, I'm sure you could pitch it to Warlord directly. But I mean, if it's good, just kickstart it, man. Yeah.
Right, guys, I think that's probably the best way to end it here. Chris, it's been an absolute privilege and honour having you on. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to, or anything that you want to promote for yourself? Now is your time.
Well, first, obviously, huge shout out to Warlord Games. I think they're doing great and hire only the best people. Handsome at that, If you want to see more of my stuff, obviously, my Instagram should have a link to my website. I have been pretty bad at updating and posting, as life's been crazy doing all this Warlord stuff, but I'm back on the wagon. I would have posted something today, but I knew I was doing this, so this is my content for today. I've got a post scheduled for tomorrow for Instagram. I'm trying to get back on the wagon, so hopefully you guys will see a little bit more from me.
Cool.
We'd love to have you back on later on in the year if we're still doing this, if we haven't been pulled from Amsterdam or we haven't been arrested or anything like that, Chris, because we'd love to get more insight in it, like, especially Conflict 47, just like to see what that goes as well.
Onwards and upwards, man. The roadmap's pretty exciting. I think by the end of this year, there'll be 21 plastic kits for Conflict.
Oh, sweet.
That sounds good.
Don't quote me on the exact number. I think that's right.
That's too late.
What a liar, dude. It's got to be the Hassan meme, everyone. What a liar, dude.
Listen, Warlord Games, Chris told us there's going to be 21 plastic sets by the end of the year, and there's only 20. What's going on here?
22. What's our listen now?
He said 21.
Don't want it.
Goddamn RAF in the hotels.
Don't dig in, man. Check in.
I know. Folks, that is us for another week. Casey, as always, any words of wisdom this week?
No, there never is there? I've got no wisdom left. No, anyway, beat your kids at Mario Kart. That's what, make them lose, make them learn the hard way.
For me, it was Mortal Kombat. That was my game. Batter them in Mortal Kombat.
Bomberman, I can recommend Bomberman, because if you put the computers on bad, the kids can win against the bad computers, but can't beat an actual player. So they think they're good, they build the confidence, and then you get to destroy the confidence. And that's what being a parent's all about.
It is. We are the generation of computer game.
I'm so cancelled.
It's all right. Nobody will watch this anyway. Folks,
Wow, thanks, Doug.
I think we've got Horndrat next week.
Yes.
That's who we've got next week. One of our female hobby people.
No,
So
February.
tune in next week, and we'll see you all next week, folks. Thanks for joining us, Chris.
Yeah, Chris.
Have a good week. See you later. Love you
Good
all.
night.
Bye bye.